community as a non-traditional, non-native college student, changing your internal program about self-doubt, experiencing and sharing happiness in everyday life, finding the courage to level up your skills, capturing the enduring love and support of a mother, becoming fully committed to a hobby through the support of mentors, valuing your talents and hard work despite harsh criticism, holding tech companies accountable for enabling users to distribute and consume harmful content, reflecting on the shift to adulthood, and using language to fix people's human needs. I'm certain you will enjoy these pieces as much as we do. I would also like to thank several individuals who made this publication possible. First, the student authors. I applaud your painstaking efforts to revise and edit your pieces in preparation for publication. And for most of these, students were editing them and turning them in like, months later after they had already finished them and turned them in for a grade. So it really did take extra effort on their part and their teachers or their mentors. It takes courage to share your experiences, ideas, and opinions with a wider audience. Second, I'm grateful to the faculty who mentored their students throughout their writing processes. Anna Ariola, I don't think she's here yet. Dr. Rebecca Bernard, she's no longer works at ASU. She moved on to a different school, but she has a student entry. Catherine Garrison is here. Dr. Mark Jackson, Dr. Katie Jones, and Elizabeth Sorrell. Third, I express my deepest gratitude to the editorial board. Anna, Dr. Desi Davis, and Judith Gonzalez. They sacrificed their limited free time and energy to co-edit a publication worthy of showcasing this fine student work. I would also like to acknowledge Adrian James. Adrian's here. If you like the really cool cover page, it's also on display in this PowerPoint somewhere. Yeah, I know. This is Adrian's handiwork. So he is a fledgling graphic designer and art major at ASU, and I want to thank him for his excellent work creating this year's cover. It's really impressive. So thank you. Finally, I'd like to thank Dr. Mark Hamill, who's present. He is our department chair and generously allocated departmental funds so this publication could exist in print, and so we especially Kate. That's right. That's really good. So we're going to go ahead and get started with what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge each author, and if the student is here and their mentor, we're going to kind of go in turn and talk about the piece and that sort of thing. But there are a couple of students who couldn't make it, but they're still going to be acknowledged. So I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth.
Ellie had with us today, so I'm going to let her kind of introduce herself in just a moment. I had Ellie last year in English 1301 and 1302, and then she's taking dual credit literature with me this year as well. She's an exceptionally gifted writer, and I'm super excited for her to read just a small portion of her essay review. She is still applying for colleges, not sure where she's going to go next year, but I know without a shadow of a doubt that she's going to be successful, and she wants to be an English teacher. So I'm super excited. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Ellie Henry. I'm going to read a little bit. The light was gone, yet there was no mistaking where we were. Through the moonless night came the pounding of the winds, and the salt-infused air skimming gently over our skin. It howled in a low whistle, tossing my hair every bit as roughly as the ocean crashing under my feet. I should have been frightened, but I had no reason to. Verses to refute my fears spilled from my mother's mouth, and warmth leaked from her hands enclosed in mine. She gave me peace. She kept me safe. We sprinted towards the water, fingers in a lock, and kicked up all that knelt on the sand below the surface. We laughed so hard we cried, and I was no longer careful. The sand flew into my eyes, my vision blurred, and I tumbled down into the naked depths. Rain began to patter, and lightning cracked the dark sky in two. My mother called after me, but I couldn't hear her over the thunder. The storms grew fast, and I drifted further, further, further. I writhed in agony under the sea. I strapped weights of guilt to my own ankles and forced myself to drown. I was angry at my mother, who sat above the water for letting me tear myself apart. She abandoned me, and for that I had metamorphosed into a violent creature, and raging waters below. I have become what I hate.
Okay, this next student is Maddie Cersei, and same as Ellie, she was in my English 1301, 1302 last year at Wall High School. And this year she's in my dual credit literature classes as well. She plans to attend Texas Tech University next year, and she is so multi-talented. I have no idea what she's going to major in, and neither does she. So, but one thing she could do is write, so we're working on that. And she, as you see, is a beautiful, gifted writer as well.
Hi, I'm Madeline Cersei, and I'm going to read the first little part of my essay. Stepping onto the dark stage, I hear my heart rapidly pound through my ears. Thump, thump, thump. My shoes, clean and pristine, get into their position. Looking out towards the audience, I see nothing but the reflections of glasses, eagerly waiting for me to dance. I take a deep breath. The air smells like hairspray and fake fog. My anxiety builds as the voice in my head reiterates, I can do this. Then, boom, in the blink of an eye, the stage lights turn on, blinding me, while the orchestra begins its serenade. Ballerinas run on stage behind me, their stiff shoes stepping against the marble floor, signaling me to begin. As I dance, calmness rolls over me like a roaring wave. I waltz, I twirl, I leap. The music takes me deeper into the story. All of my stress, anxiety, and worry are gone, as if they were never there. At this moment, I am meant to be on this stage. This is where I'm comfortable. This is where I belong.
And I taught Scott Taylor. Scott Taylor was one of my students, and I really liked his essay about, he was supposed to write about some moment where he felt like he became more like an adult than any other moment. And so my students, they could have written about something small, like they had to stay at home by themselves for the first time, or something big, like going to college. He chose to talk about when he became a camp counselor. And so, I'm going to read an excerpt from his stuff. It says, the scorching bright yellow sun beats down and reflects off the shallow waves of Millsike Lake. It's almost noon, my first official Sunday as a camp counselor. I've just completed 2 weeks of staff training and felt confident all week learning amongst my peers and having a blast. Now I wait full of anxiety, a proverbial ball of nerves. Sometime in the next 2 hours, our calm, serene campgrounds will be overrun by loud, chaotic, and possibly violent barbarians. And suddenly, I'm not sure if I'm ready to handle it. The conquerors in question will be coming in the form of 150 to 200 children between the ages of 8 and 15 years old. 12 of these will be my sole responsibility, and as the youngest child in my family, who's barely 20 years old, I'm not sure that I'm up to the task. How am I going to take responsibility for these children when I still feel like one myself? 6 weeks later, after the greatest summer of my life, one spent teaching, learning, and growing, I felt more like an adult than I ever have. Did a great job. I love the humor.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Anna was going to be able to make it, Donovan, but Donovan Davis is here. He's one of our authors, and his piece is entitled "Finding Happiness in the Everyday." And it wasn't Donovan wasn't my student, but he was Anna's. And according to the prompt, they were supposed to write about moments of happiness and how that sort of brings meaning to your life. Is that right, Donovan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, something like that. But the his essay is really good. I mean, all of them are. So, but he has a lot of humor in his as well. And he talks about a competition or a game that he and his siblings played, and it's called playing butts, right? Can you talk about what that entailed? What playing butts mean whenever you sit down at the dinner table?
Yeah, so there's some basic rules, right? Once we sit down for family dinner, once everyone is seated, the first person to call that gets bragging rights. It came about because me and the rest of my siblings often had conversations around the dinner table that often my mom did not see as fit for dinner time conversations. So she decided one day that maybe we should just call butts and get it over with. And like children, we turned it into a game, and it's lasted, you know, through the ages, right, through the decades. So it's still fun to play.
You can teach Oliver how to call butts.
It,
right?
yeah, we just got a table at my house, so we're learning.
It's early still, yeah. But this is what, in Donovan's essay, he talks about spending time with family. That's one of the examples, the competition that they have. And so he also talks about being kind to someone for the sake of being kind. We all know we need more of that in our lives, right? And it's essential to have something, anything that brings joy and purpose into life. So really good essay. Well done, Donovan. I assume that Anna she was having to pick up children and stuff, so she wasn't able to make it today. Next, I'm gonna have Katie Jones introduce her students, who I don't think was able to make it.
No, I don't think she made it.
My name is Katie Jones. The piece that I'm going to be talking about is by my student, Mai Gan Pham Nguyen, and she is a Vietnamese international student. I actually have never met her, so I was hoping she'd be here, but I had her in my online class, and the topic my students wrote about, like Catherine's student, was writing about experiences which have brought them happiness. And so I'm just going to read one paragraph. She wrote about 3 different experiences. One was this trip to, let's see, what's it called? Trip to Nha Trang, also a family celebration of the Tet holiday, and another trip to a place called Dong Ho and learning sort of the local art there. So I will read one paragraph about this trip to Nha Trang. Firstly, a special experience that I remember is when in the scorching heat of June 2022, the allure of Nha Trang Beach beckoned, and I embarked on a journey with my best friend. The first time I dipped beneath the waves, learning the art of scuba diving marked a moment of exhilaration and connection with the ocean's depths. Before diving, the professionals taught us how to breathe underwater with oxygen tanks. We had to wear a designated swimsuit and an oxygen tank that was quite heavy and uncomfortable. However, a new beautiful wonderland opened up as we began to dive into the sea. Fish swimming around in colorful corals and fish swarming together to create a very stunning and magical shape. I also had the opportunity to watch the sun, bowing gracefully on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, creating a canvas of unforgettable